And that's sadly a wrap for Muv-Luv Alternative. Unfortunately, that is the finale. No, just joking. Thankfully, a second season has already been announced for Muv-Luv Alternative. We have it, I think, was 2022 fall, which is a long ways away, but at least we have a confirmation because, as I said in my last impressions, things are just getting better and better, and we obviously have a lot of questions still left to answer in this series. So I'm really happy to see that this will continue on. So awesome stuff there. It's not Kageki Shoujo, but this is for once an announcement for a sequel that I'm perfectly fine with. But yeah, overall, pretty solid episode. I think the only thing that I really had a frustration with this entire episode was kind of this continuous, oh no, this person's gonna die. Nope, this person saves him. Oh no, this person's gonna die. Oh no, this person saved him. They did like this little domino effect of people dying and somebody saving them, and then somebody dying and then somebody saving him. I was like, okay, how many times are we gonna do this? But no, it seems like kind of after everything happened with Irma in the last episode, we just kind of continued back where we were before. It's like they had this point in which everybody was kind of ceasing fire and Sagiri was all cool with just kind of giving up everything, and then suddenly we're back to fighting again. Which seems to be what they wanted, this insurgent group, which I don't think did they ever say who the insurgent group was? I mean, we just assuming it's the Americans? I don't know. I know that Sagiri said that it had to be the Americans. Like, the Americans are trying to cause this so that we have this conflict and then they come in and rescue it. But they do have this little brief moment at the very end with Kozuki talking with Yorori where he pretty much says, you know, everything went the way that I was hoping for it to go. So it really does seem like he at least is a key part of this whole thing, or at least him and Kozuki. I mean, they're both seem like they're in cahoots with each other. And that, at least based on what he's saying, everything went according to his plan. Like, everything that he laid out now, what he laid out could have been a countermeasure to what they were doing, which would make sense because it didn't necessarily go the way the insurgents wanted. I don't know. Maybe that's something that I'm possibly missing a certain key part, or something we're to get into later. So I guess we'll have to wait to see with the second season. She finally regains herself. Unfortunately, it's too late. What they wanted to be done was done. And apparently it seemed like even though she stops, there was another insurgent within the Americans that was still firing on people. And even though their commander, the American major, tries to stop them, unfortunately, he's not able to stop it. And then Sagiri kills him. So later, that sucks. The major was really cool. I think of every character that kind of died throughout this entire thing, the major kind of sucked. But yeah, before then, Irma died. So, and then we have the big showdown against Sagiri. Sagiri apparently has, I guess, tossed his ideas of stopping everything. It really does seem like this was his, like, final stop. Like, it almost played out in this episode as if Sagiri was playing the, like, martyr. Like, everything was according to his plan, and this was his end game. Like, his whole, everything that he played out, which was to inspire the people of Japan to make some sort of change, he succeeded at that, and he was ready to die. Like, he's up against Tsukiyomi, and Tsukiyomi is just not backing down. This is it. He's done. They fight, and that's his death. Which, again, plays into the whole scenario. That was literally what he was playing out to be. Unfortunately, they had, like, some flashbacks at this point, which I think would have been cooler to have it before then. This scenario in 1999 with the Yokohama Hive, where I'm assuming the Americans dropped a huge bomb on top of the hive, and even though he was against it, it wiped out pretty much his entire city. And so it was kind of his driving force for everything that he's been doing up to this point was because of that. Again, if that was Americans, I don't know if they necessarily said it was Americans, but somebody dropped a huge bomb. The assumption is the Americans, because I think they have like a really huge bomb that they were talking about dropping. I think Kozuki was talking about it. But yeah, that kind of wraps things up. All the dust kind of settles. Once Sagiri's dead, the entire rebellion group kind of just gives up at that point. Them shipping Yuhi off. I'm not sure where they're taking Yuhi off to. She gets in a craft. I'm not sure if that craft's going to another Japan island or if it's to go to the United States or something like that. I'm really curious as to what that is. But this is where Shirogane gives the doll to Maya. Maya's super happy about it. This was a doll that apparently they had in this brief moment they actually got to be together when they were infants. Not sure how she remembers that, but that's a significant thing to her. I don't know if maybe she had one too, and maybe she lost it. I don't remember if they've showed that before. And this is where we have Yoroi is arrested by the MP. I had to skip. I went back and I skipped around in the episodes trying to remember at what point she did something wrong. I know that what Jinjuji says is that not to worry, they don't really expect too much from cadets, but I don't remember her having a problem. The assumption is the way that she said that is that Yorori hesitated at some point. Like, she didn't act when she was supposed to, and I kind of vaguely remember her not acting in some certain situation. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I know that her father is not in trouble about anything, so I don't think that that's involving that. Like I said, I'm assuming it's because at some point she hesitated and she wasn't supposed to, or she didn't follow a command immediately. But either way, they didn't say that anything would happen, so. And that kind of just leads into a big montage of a bunch of characters. You have a speech from Yuhi regarding not forgetting about what happened and kind of reflecting on a lot of the things, preventing it from happening again, growing stronger with all that stuff, seeing a lot of the characters like Class Rep obviously needing to grow stronger with the loss of her family. Tama talking about going to Irma's homeland once everything's over. Just kind of a wrap up of everything before the big tease at the very end, which is Yoroi and Kozuki talking about this whole plan going as planned. He apparently worked himself to death trying to put everything into place, and it all kind of worked out the way that he wanted to. And then, yeah, what's the next step? And Kozuki says something intimate but epic in scale. So, and then a cut to later where she's talking about something gonna be here soon. She's gonna be here soon, and it cuts to the tube with the brain inside of it, which again, like I've said at the very beginning of this entire series, I'm assuming is Sumika, because again, she's the only person of Shiragane's previous life that's not in this world. So my assumption has always been that that's gonna be Sumika. Whether it's Kozuki is going to stick her inside of a body or something like that, or if it's just suddenly going to manifest a body, I don't know. But that'll be interesting. I think, like I said before, I wasn't really too keen on the whole infighting aspect that they started getting into sometime in the halfway point of this series. But my big concern was, despite me really loving where this went and how much character development we had, how much inner conflict it had between all these nation and groups, we still have the alternative stuff in the bed over here that just kind of get left behind. So it'll be exciting with the next season. I'm assuming we're going to finally get into that stuff, get into Alternative 4, and really start digging into the beta and where the show goes from there. So definitely excited for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, my impressions on this series. Definitely been enjoying my weekly impressions on it. Definitely loved hearing back from you guys, your perspective on things. A lot of people going, oh my gosh, this guy's never read the visual novel. Go read the visual novel instead of watching the show. But it's been fun. I've been really enjoying the series. Like I said, it's been really picking up in the later parts. So it really has me excited for a second season. I'm glad it got announced. But again, I thank you guys for joining me every single week for this whole thing. As always, if you have not already, please subscribe. Join us on a regular basis as we will continue to do reviews and impressions on this season before we wrap everything up and get started in the next season, which I hope you guys will join me for that. As always, if you like this video, hit that like button down below, comment, let me know what's about the episode. And if you can, in the description down below, there's a way that you can support us. I definitely appreciate everybody that does, and y'all take care.